Well, hi everybody, welcome once again to IAG Trade Talk. I'm your host, Andrew W. Scott, and we're here at the lovely Morpheus Hotel at City of Dreams, and it's our pleasure to welcome the Chief Operating Officer of Melco Resorts Entertainment, Mr. David Sisk. Hi David, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Andrew. Great to have you here.
Well, we're here for a big announcement. I hear you've got a big announcement for us, so please let us know.
Sure. So what we're doing is we're going to do the first residency program for entertainment in Macau. We're going to have, first we're going to have Aaron Kwok that'll do 30 shows for us over the next 3 years. We're also going to have Yung Leon Lai that'll do 30 shows for us, and we'll have Joey Young.
That's fantastic, some big names, and all Hong Kong artists at this stage.
So at this stage, all Cantopop artists. We're obviously looking to bring other artists in, but we're very excited to have this program and this opportunity to bring these unique artists in that will create some very interesting experiences for our guests and for Macau.
And you said 30 shows for each, is it?
30 shows for each.
Right. Over how long a period of time?
So this will be over the next 3 years. Hopefully we'll be able to extend that. And we're also looking for other artists, as I said, as well, to bring in and to continue this residency program to really try to bring back a sense of entertainment and excitement as we come out of the pandemic for Macau.
Well, wow, that's a really big sort of commitment and investment by Melco. Why? Obviously, we're in the midst of this pandemic at the moment. We're trying to get out of it. Every time we try to get out of it, we don't seem to quite get there, but we're making some improvements. I mean, why the big investment now? Why the decision now?
Well, it's something we've been looking at for a while. I think one of the key things for us, obviously, is we're huge believers in Macau. We believe mightily in the future of Macau. We also think that we need a big catalyst coming out of the pandemic to really draw more people to Macau and really create a sense of fun and excitement and hopefully more optimism. And we want people to get back to kind of the way things were as we get out of this pandemic.
And they're just the first artists, I understand. You're looking at other artists as well. What different parts of the world might they be from? Presumably Asia, mainland, Taiwan?
So right now we're looking primarily for artists out of China, Asia. We're also looking for Western artists as well. But what we really want to do is try to find artists that can create great experiences for our guests. Bring something, let's say, new to Macau. One of the unique things about the artists that we're bringing in is they're going to craft specific shows for our theater. So it'll be a very intimate, very special experience for our guests.
And you mentioned the theatre, this is Studio City Theatre, right?
This will be our Studio City Events Center, which we've had many shows before. We've had Madonna. Aaron has performed there as well before. Many other great artists over the last 5 years since we opened the Studio City property.
Actually, I remember when Madonna was here, some of the people mentioned to me how since it was it's 3,000, it's a lot of people, yep. But it's not 10,000 or 15,000.
Exactly.
So it's kind of an intimate show.
Yeah, and that intimate theater has really kind of created an opportunity for us, for these artists, to really put something special into that theater. And most of the artists that have performed in the Studio City Events Center have really found something unique about that, and it allows them to get very close to their audience, but also allows them to give them something that they haven't necessarily seen before. And the opportunity to do that, I think, was very enticing for the first 3 artists that we're bringing in.
And so this is specifically for Melco, for Studio City. So all of these shows will be tailor-made for the audience, right?
They will be tailor-made for the audience. Again, it'll be one of those unique experiences, whether it be staged, the dancers, the performers that are going to be there. But again, it'll be a crafted show that'll be very special, unlike anything that they've done before. And again, something very, very special for Macau.
And so does this begin this year, 2021?
We're hoping to actually have this thing start in the 4th quarter this year. Obviously, pandemic permitting, we think there's a good opportunity for us to do that, hopefully with the Golden Week. And
I mean, you mentioned about the pandemic. Obviously, I don't think you're allowed to have an interview these days without talking about the
Absolutely.
Pandemic and COVID and so forth. I mean, as I mentioned before, it's kind of a bit bold to be doing this during this period of time. But how have you found the current situation, the pandemic? We're 18 months into it. Figures are a little bit better. I mean, how are you guys faring now? And why did you choose now to do that?
Well, I think it's a couple of things. I think one of the first things is, look, obviously we're coming out of the pandemic. We seem to be seeing better numbers, as you said. The opportunity, I think, right now to maybe bring a sense of hope and optimism as well is I think significant for us. But look, as I said before, we're huge believers in the future of Macau. We think Macau is a very special place. We think it's a special, unique environment for integrated resorts that really attracts people from all over the world. And we think the opportunity coming out of this to bring people back into Macau, bring that sense of fun, excitement, and just kind of joy again. I think we've kind of forgotten that a little bit, especially as you said, 18 months. It's been a very, very long time. And I think just kind of getting that sense of excitement and optimism back into Macau is very important.
Well, we've all been wearing our masks and doing our COVID tests and having difficulty crossing borders. It'd be nice to have a little bit of fun, and there's some big A-lister names you've got there. So.
No, some huge names there. And I think, I think one of the important things coming out of this too is we have been doing our bit, but I think the one thing we really do need to do as much as we possibly can, and I would encourage anybody who's watching or listening, please get vaccinated. It is so, so important. It's important to you and your family. It's important to our community, but it's really important to the Macau. We can't recover as a city until we get everybody vaccinated, until everybody feels safe. And it's really important, just not only for us, but for the world as well.
I think in that respect, we've been a little bit of a victim of our own success. We've had such a, we've had no deaths, and we've had such a good, very low rate here that people kind of think, oh, do I really need to go to get vaccinated? But we're not going to get the show back on the road until people do that, are we? Yeah,
no, and look, we're incredibly fortunate in Macau. The government here and in China has done just an amazing job keeping us all safe, but they've also done a great job in getting enough vaccine for everybody. And for us not to take advantage of that wonderful opportunity that the government's created for here is just, would really be a shame. And we don't want to see that opportunity pass. And we have to get vaccinated.
Since we're talking today about entertainment, I just wanted to bring up the House of Dancing Water. Obviously, House of Dancing Water has been an amazing, spectacular show in Macau, and really the only residency that works, let's be honest, and it just made a stupendous reputation for itself over the years. Such a shame not to have it in town at the moment. Right. What's the future for House of Dancing Water? Is it going to come back? When might it come back? How will it come back? What can you tell us about that? Sure.
Look, I think House of Dancing Water is something we're incredibly proud of. It's one of, as you said, it's one of the few production shows that's actually been successful in Macau. We've got a 10-year history with House of Dancing Water. We purchased the show. We are still very much partners with Franco in creating a great show and a great experience. We're hoping to bring that back sometime late in 2022. Unfortunately, as we had to take the show down because we couldn't let people go see the show because of the COVID restrictions, because of the seating restrictions, it just wasn't, unfortunately, it wasn't just practical to operate the show at such a huge loss with an empty theater. Performances need to have, and performers need to have an audience, and those performances without an audience was just really a shame for us to do that. I think one of the other kind of key things for us in trying to bring back the show as early as we can, it's being able to get those performers back into Macau. It's being able to revamp the show and create a much better, more enlightening experience. It's something we've been wanting to do. As I said, the show has been going on for 10 years. It's not unusual for large production shows to go through somewhat of a revamp. We're very excited about the opportunity for the revamp. We're happy and hoping that we can get that thing up and going again sometime in the fourth quarter of 2022.
So I guess that would mean Franco Dragon coming over here and revamping the show, perhaps rebuilding the theatre to a certain extent, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the theatre is in incredible shape. We've done a lot of work. About 2 years ago, we just did a whole revamp of the theatre. I think getting Franco over here and getting Franco's team over here to kind of add some new elements to the show, create some new performances, kind of streamline the show a little bit is something that we've been wanting to do for a while. Unfortunately, we've had this long down period. We'd hoped to do it sooner, but with the Macau being closed to anybody traveling internationally outside of our China bubble, it's just been impossible to get anybody in here.
And back to the A-listers you've just announced. You said there's going to be 30 shows over 3 years for each of them, or 90 shows in total. What's the plan? Is the plan for them to kind of do one a month, or to come and do a block of them and then go for a while and then come back? How's that going to work?
So the idea is for them to at least have do a block of them every, let's say, every quarter or so, having them come in. So maybe we have Aaron, hopefully we'll kick off our residency, have Aaron start off. He does a certain number of shows, then have Joey come in, then Leon, and then back to Aaron, but also trying to also plug in other performers as we go along here and bringing them into our residency program and letting them craft unique and special shows. But having these things go over a series, not having them where it's just a one and done type of thing and then we don't see them for 3 years.
I mean, big names like Aaron Kwok and so forth. I mean, that's pretty amazing for you guys to be able to get such powerful, genuine superstar A-listers here. Was that a difficult thing to do? Was there a lot of negotiations with their management and so forth? I'm sure there was.
Well, there's always negotiations. I mean, these are very popular artists. These are very unique artists as well. I think the idea of this is the first time anyone's done a residency program like this in Asia. And I think getting them over to that kind of understanding what we were trying to do and finding artists that really wanted to try to create that unique experience, to be able to get close to their audience, but also really for the opportunity to kind of do something different and new, which is very exciting, I think, very enticing for them. So once you get through the kind of the general negotiations, that part was actually pretty easy, finding the artist and finding a level of interest.
Well, I'm sure everybody's looking forward to it. It'll be absolutely fantastic to have some genuine A-list stars in Macau, and to start to see some real entertainment here again, and breathe a little bit more life. We've got more life than we had, but we'll breathe even more life into the product offering of the town.
Yeah, and again, as I said before, I think one of the key things for us is coming out of the pandemic, we really want to try to relaunch, restart, really reinvigorate Macau. And like I said, we're huge believers at Melco in Macau. We certainly are big investors in Macau. We're going to continue to invest. We just opened up our new water park over at Studio City on May 22nd. We've got phase 2 coming up for Studio City. So we're huge believers in what we think Macau can be and what Macau will be, and ultimately will continue to grow into.
Look, just one last question. Post-pandemic, I mean, when, how, what? I mean, what's your prediction? When are we really going to be out of this? And when we do, what systemic changes do you think? Are there things that we've learned through this process of the pandemic that might be permanent changes in the way we do things here in Macau?
Well, let me take your first question, and that is, look, I wish I knew. I mean, that is the ultimate question. I think we all wish. It can't be soon enough for most of us, I think. Hopefully it's in the next few months, but given where we're at, given where the world's at, given that we're not getting vaccinated, it may take a lot longer than we originally anticipated. Again, that vaccination, I can't say enough how much of a key that is to us getting out of this ultimately and getting the world vaccinated and getting to a much safer place. I think in terms as we look at the opportunities and things that we've learned over here, I think in terms of the safety aspect, and letting people know in terms of this idea of things being more sanitized, being cleaner, making sure that we've got whatever process is in place to make sure we're checking temperatures or any of the other things where we can make our guests feel safe and show our guests that they're safe to come here. And we've been very fortunate in Macau. We've had really good things that we've worked with the government, the health department here, and processes and procedures that we put in place that I don't think we're going to stop. I think those are going to continue, and those are going to kind of become embedded in our psyche now. Much like when we go through the airport or we go through the ferry terminal, which has been a long time for most of us, but as you walk through a temperature control, as you maybe have a health declaration as you go through, you'll have, I'm assuming now going forward, the little card that we all got when we got vaccinated, you'll show that, but that's going to become a significant part of our future as we go forward here.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for your time, Dave, and thanks for speaking to the viewers of Inside Asian Gaming, and I guess we'll see you next time.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for taking time. Appreciate it.
And we'll see you next time on Inside Asian Gaming Trade Talk.